All right, and here we are. This is the Working Title Show with Zach Sams, and we are back. All right. We are back. This is the first episode of the Working Title Show with Zach Sams of 2026. We made it.
Wow.
Yeah. Can you believe it? We're halfway through the month already, too. It's flying by. But real excited to be here. We got a great guest today. Back as always, Dallas Cothram and Tyler Isbell, my amazing guest host.
Buddy.
Hey, buddy. I wish you were kind of in your elf suit today. That was very inspiring. You missed that.
I did miss. I played hooky.
We'll get you some clips. It was good. Our guest, Buddy Cramer. Buddy, thanks for being here. Buddy is the owner of the Katy Trail, the iconic Katy Trail Ice House at this point, right?
Well, I wouldn't say that, but I'm glad that you say that.
You're modest. Yeah. But, Dallas was telling me before the show, and I had no idea. He says people will fly into Dallas, and the first place they'll go with luggage is to the Katy Trail Ice House. That's
what I look for now.
We get a lot of people rolling up with luggage. It's pretty funny, especially on Fridays. So
yeah,
they'll just roll in, go straight from the airport. You can tell they have the cab drop them off at.
Is that because they've been there before, or somebody's told them you got to go?
I think it's because, it's a gathering place and larger parties. So I think their party's probably already there, and they don't want to go
in.
Yeah, and they want to go straight there. So.
That's a good problem. You have to deal with the luggage, but you got people coming as fast as they can get there.
When I was a new Dallas resident from straight out of the University of Texas, circa 2003 or 4, I lived at the villas at Katy Trail.
That's the plan project. We appreciate you living there.
Yeah, and the Katy Trail had just opened, and I kept running by I wasn't married at the time. I was single, so I didn't know what this place was, but there was a red steel building on the side of the Katy Trail that looked extremely shady with a bunch of really nice cars parked outside of this gravel lot. And I think you might have taken that building.
Yeah, it was a pretty shady spot.
What was it called?
It was called the Jet Set before, and it really pretty much had a 16-foot high fence around it. It was a swingers bar.
No kidding.
Yes. And
the Jet Set.
Yes.
So it wasn't. If you took it over, was it? So business wasn't booming. Like what happened?
Well, I think apparently not. I don't think it was the good-looking person's swingers bar. I think it was just kind of like I always say it was the no-teeth swingers.
No teeth swingers.
I think it's a myth because the only time you see good-looking swingers is on like TV when it's when it's not true. I was telling y'all this before we started when y'all brought this up, but I would just love. I'd love to be a fly on the wall. Because at some point, to be a swinger, to me, at least this is in my view, somebody in a marriage has to breach the subject with the other partner. Yeah. And
that changes everything.
Honey, I want to talk to you about something. What do you think about, having sex with other people together? I mean, how does that? I mean,
I don't know.
That goes one of two ways. Either you get slugged and left, or they're like, I was waiting for you to ask. I just
I already started.
What do you mean?
Oh my God!
Glad you're catching up.
It just blows me away, like how somebody could have.
But I think when
Dallas is
when you had the idea. I mean, look, and I will say, I tell all my other clients this is the best project I ever worked on and my favorite. And you've created
Swingers Club, or because
they've created a community center. I mean, I think the thing that's the most amazing about Ice House is you can have a group of guys in my age in their 50s, and the next table over is a group of girls in their 20s, and then there's guys in their 70s. So I know you use that term community center.
I do.
But you were the first person to really think your front door was the Katy Trail. Everybody thought that site was terrible. Yeah. Why did you think it wasn't?
Well, probably because I was dumb. I don't know. But no, we just felt like there was really nothing along the Katy Trail or Focus, and there are a lot of people that and really kind of affluent people that use the Katy Trail. Whether you're talking about the younger people that live in Uptown and the Katy Trail for people don't know, really starts at American Airlines Center, and then it ends, it goes almost to SMU.
Yeah.
So it goes through Highland Park, and so we just thought, hey, what a great place to water. But I'm going to tell you, I started originally the ice house with my my business partner Joe Tillotson, and his mother and my mother both thought we were just nuts. They're like, so people are going to go jogging and just come in and have a beer? We're like, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we've all seen the Michelob Ultra commercials. You go rollerblading or run a marathon. First thing you go is get a beer.
Yeah, but even better than that, it wasn't about going jogging and having a beer. It was about not getting in my car and walking down to have a beer and walking home.
That's right.
That's true.
And very
this is
convenient.
kind of pre-Uber, right?
Yeah,
When you start.
it was definitely pre-Uber.
Yeah.
Yes. And so,
Tell the story about y'all were there working on it, and the guy came down the trail.
oh, well.
I like this.
So we're getting it all done. And, originally, I mean, I'll tell you how we kind of came up with the concept later, but we're feeling really proud about this place. It's looking good. I mean, we're a week from opening, and, or less than a week. It was Monday, we were going to open that Friday. And this guy comes in and he's like, hey, looks pretty nice what you've done here. Would you give me a little tour? And I'm giving this grand tour and waving my arms and feeling good. And he goes, well, you're a really nice guy. I wish you well. You're kind of buried over here, and I don't think you have much of a chance. But and I got no sleep until Friday. And Friday we had
What an asshole.
we had a soft opening. And just invited a few people. We had 800 people there, and I was like, I had some choice words in my mind for that guy that had kept me from
Did
sleeping.
that guy own the I-75 ice house or something?
I don't know. I don't think there were any ice houses in Dallas at that time.
There weren't, and now you've invented and with your H.P. Scott buddies and one Jesuit guy, I guess we'll forgive him. That you invented something where you got a lot of copycats now.
Yeah,
I guess if imitation is the best form of flattery, you got a lot of it.
Yeah, we do. It's kind of like nobody quite seems to get it.
Yeah.
And honestly, I don't think I got it at first. I think it took me 2 or 3 years to understand what we kind of had there. And at the end of the day, people come in and put furniture, and they do certain things, they do certain beers, and they do, certain music. But it is all those things. But it's really, at the end of the day, it's a landscaping concept. It's what it is. It's an outdoor place. Nobody is focused on outdoor because they're thinking, well, what if it rains? Well,
Or it's too hot.
or it's too hot. And so we kind of control those elements.
Mm-hmm.
And, we have natural gas, piped in throughout, and have heaters at most every table, and then misting fans in the summer. And so we try to control the whole environment. And then we have lots of shade. I mean, we've spent, there we've
$100,000.
about $1.5 million on trees.
Well, and I think Dallas people are proud of the places they're from, and the Katy Trail is especially iconic for people that grew up in that area. So probably some of that hometown feel and that Katy Trail, it has to have some allure to it, I would think, especially at the beginning.
Was a lifetime Katy Railroad guy.
Yeah.
That was his job.
My dad worked one summer at the Katy Railroad. So
I'm from Argyle, so I did not grow up in Dallas. Did not even know. I'd never heard of the Katy Trail until I'd heard of the Katy Trail Ice House. I didn't even know the trail existed. So
did you walk the rail lines like I did with my buddies? That was a ritual of all Highland Park.
Well, we
kids,
used
I
to.
think.
I mean, I'm old enough where we used to put pennies on the tracks and let the trains go by and
still
flatten them
fun.
out. Yeah.
Yeah, that train went around back behind, towards Abrams and Skillman. Yeah, I lived off of that rail, right off of Abrams and that rail line.
not an active rail line.
Middle of the night, the rumble. It was heavy rail. It was,
Huh.
yeah, every night.
Yeah.
Well, did you think that the back door, the trail would be the front door? Or I remember when I first started looking. Remember when we first started? We did a study for the city about how many people. And I remember I was surprised when it was about half the people were in the early years were coming via the trail.
I guess, I mean, Dallas, you'd have to give me more credit, thought than that. A lot of this just kind of fell into place. I just thought generally it was a good area to be. I think he had a bunch of apartments up the street. I knew it was going to be a place that people walked to, whether they came along the trail or walked down from,
Uptown.
the density.
One of the few. Uptown's one of the only places.
Yeah, Villa Rosa, we had done that project, and you got 500 units there. I mean,
Yeah.
and then Gables did the thing. I mean, there you were nestled in there with a lot of density.
I mean, we were, but we had no idea the kind of numbers we could do there. We thought we were just going to be a little sleepy thing originally.
Yeah. What's funny is some of the, things that turn out to be the best ideas, so often in the beginning, you weren't sure.
Yeah.
But you had a simple menu,
what you would do.
like the old Chili's menu.
Yeah, we did. And it really, we didn't have this concept, and we're driving around Dallas looking on where to put it.
Right.
The land kind of came to us as the guy that owned it would only do
wait, help me with this.
Joel Comer.
Joel Comer, yeah.
He would only do a 5-year lease with no options or anything to renew. And we're like, originally, we thought it was in a good place, and food trucks were all the rage back then. We were like, well, let's just throw a bunch of picnic benches out there and bring some food trucks. That was the original thought process, and that was the only thing we could dream that we could do for 5 years. Then we ended up in pretty short order buying it from him. So then we started really understanding it was, and made a lot of infrastructure. Turns out it's really one of the more expensive restaurant concepts you can do.
Did the crowd hang around and start coming to the Ice House, or did they go to
We did have a few cabs kind of pull up in front and like stop and then roll on. We did have that happen for about a year or two. That stopped over time. But Dallas, you mentioned our small menu. I mean, when people ask me, like, if you can name one place that you base the Katy Trail Ice House off of, what would you base it on? And I go, well, it's Chili's. And people look at me as like, what?
Well, that's interesting because a lot of people don't remember the old Chili's.
Yeah,
I mean, buffalo wings.
Yes.
Remember buffalo? That was the first time I'd ever heard of that.
It was a totally different thing. It was up by Meadow Road on Greenville, up by
Royal Oaks.
Royal Oaks up there.
Yeah. I don't think a lot of people know anymore that it started here.
And when I tell people this, so while people are waiting to get in, because we own the property around there, we have a couple of bars that they can sit in. So, and they had a small menu, but if you think of that old Chili's, that's what they did. You waited in line. They built a bar for you while you were in line to get something to drink.
Mm-hmm.
You walked in, it was a very small menu. Okay. And I always thought that was really smart because they made things really well, and you could do that with a smaller menu.
Cost down.
Yep.
They were good concepts.
It was a Texas themed place. Yeah. It was based on the chili cook-offs. It was their main thing. But when you look at that, all the Texas influence and the outside bars,
it felt authentic.
Yeah, it felt authentic.
That was back in the Unicard days too, wasn't it?
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
You and I talked the other one down the street, on Greenville, where it was half price beer if it rained. What
3-for-1s. Judge Roy Beans.
Judge Roy Beans.
Oh, yeah.
That was another one that was probably great. I don't know if it influenced.
Is that a play off the roller coaster?
No, off the historical character.
It was down by the filling station.
It was Judge Roy. I just remember him. I just remember the roller coaster at Six Flags.
He was a hanging judge.
What?
The wall west of the Pecos.
Yeah, the wall.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
We should talk about that on our historical episode we do. That'd be killer.
Yeah.
But that, those were two good concepts that I went to a lot. I know you did too.
Yes.
And Greenville Avenue had, a lot going on.
It was unbelievable. Like right there in that whole
Fridays.
You had Fridays.
Mariano's.
You had the Randy Tar. You had Railhead. You had the filling station.
Was that
Tub Club. Don't forget the Tub Club.
Oh, well, yeah. I can't forget the Tub Club.
Was Ichabod's back? No. Where was Ichabod's? Further south? Or was that before your time?
I don't know that one.
It's like Lovers and
Must be some Lake Highlands thing. I don't know.
Yeah.
No.
There you go.
I'm like I was.
Did you say before their time?
Yeah, it was back in the 70s. My dad was the manager at Ichabod's at like Lovers in Greenville.
I've never
He
heard
said
of Ichabod.
he said it was right when the Village opened, and that was the spot. Lovers in Greenville was like all the hot spot bars.
Well, they had Don Showtime in there. I remember.
My mom used to work.
They had LeBaire. Yeah, they had the Point After.
Yeah.
My mom worked there. Do y'all remember?
Oh, you're talking about not those kind of bars.
That's where Central Market was.
My dad was not the manager of a strip club.
And what was the chicken place where they had the car when people would drive around with they had a Cadillac and they had a chicken head and people would.
I don't remember this.
Oh yeah, people would rent it for dates. It was like they had a convertible that had a chicken head on the thing, and it was like called Buddy. I think it was called Buddy's Chicken.
Okay.
Yeah.
You can bring it back.
And there was a bar connected to it, and yeah, people used to go there.
Well, do you think your simple menu resonated with people? I mean, you really haven't messed with the menu very much. And I think you've tried, you're less expensive than some places.
Well, what we're trying to do is we have a scratch kitchen. So we're trying to produce, you go to most bars and people are just like, well, you get a bunch of, kind of Cisco pre-made stuff. Well, we make everything but the bread, and I'd make the bread if we had room. We just don't have room, and the tortillas. So everything, I don't care if it's salad dressings, barbecue sauce, everything's made from scratch. And so we focus on having that small a menu so that we could do things really well and, repeat. I mean, one of the things that is always in my mind is places like McDonald's, okay. You can go get a big, it may not be that great to any of us, but it's going to taste the same in Dallas, Texas as it does in, Berlin or Prague or wherever else you go. And just having that kind of consistency, but I want to get to a better tasting level, obviously, and achieve that kind of consistency. And that's what we try to do.
Were you in the restaurant business before Katy Ice House?
No, I'm a recovering attorney.
So how did this happen?
Well, it really happened. It started. My first place was a little place that was still owned called Banditos. That's in Snyder Plaza, which is just a heck of a place. It's one of those places that outside of a mile radius, nobody's heard of it, but everybody in that mile radius just flocks to it. It's the neighborhood place.
It's the spot that you go. I go to Highland Park Methodist, and the same families have been going at the same time
for lunch.
And it's where the people go where the varsity football parents go at the game. I mean, it's an institution.
And so
the community as well, basically.
We were really my friend Joe Tillotson had previous ventures. He started the Barley House, and he did a couple of restaurants downtown that didn't go so well. And then he was kind of looking for something to do. And I was just burned out from practicing commercial real estate law. And we were friends. And so we kind of stumbled we were in a few businesses together, and then, just saw the sign and like leased it the next day. And hey, I was in the restaurant business, and, we lost money for a year till we figured out how to do it. And then I think I really liked it. And I think I got pretty good at it. And so that was my launching off point to be able to do something like the Ice House.
The restaurant business is interesting because, and I worked in the restaurant business when I was young, bartending and all that kind of stuff. It's hard work, late nights, and, a lot of restaurants fail. But also there's been so much money made in restaurants, partly because there's 8 billion mouths in the world and everybody has to eat. So I think that's always a good concept when everybody could be your potential customer. But what makes it work? What's the big?
Well, I think that you can't. One of the things. Well, firstly, personally, I've never been very trendy, as you can kind of tell. This is just my.
I think you're starting
normal tire. And I think you got to be a non-trendy place. You think about the best places in Dallas, whether you're like a Javier's, institution, even the Bob's Chop House on Lemon, and these places, and they're not Albernays, nothing about this is trendy or as cool, and okay, here's this new place they're coming in from New York.
They're not spending the biggest build out in town to open the restaurant around.
They're just trying to be consistent in doing this. The principles are the same whether you're doing Javier's or whether you're doing the Katy Trail Ice House. You work hard, you grind, and you make sure your food's good. You make sure you get good service. Yeah, absolutely. Be friendly, and it's just it's simple if you think about it in terms of that. But if you go into the restaurant business like a lot of people do, I'm going to do this. I'm going to buy some artwork, and I'm going to do this, and that's going to be. And over time, even places that you walk in and go, oh, that's really cool, but they don't seem to have a soul that
Right.
goes along to it, that they don't last. And I will even do that. I'll go into places, this is cool. And then by the fourth time I've gone there, I'm like, well, I don't need to go back.
I think it's so interesting though that so I'm a restaurant broker. I've been doing it for 25 years, and we get in these conversations with restaurants all the time that are trying to recreate the energy that is facing the Katy Trail. But that's such a unique thing because you have that pedestrian traffic walking by, and then they want to go do an outdoor area that's gated and it's closed off. And I mean, it's a cemetery when it's cold outside. But there's no synergy there. And then you go like Portland and a few other markets. Denver's another good market where they'll have like a park playground in the middle of 5 or 6 different bars that, mom and dad can watch their kid from 100 yards while they're sitting there hanging out with their buddies. I just think it's that energy, that placemaking that's so important with that.
It sounds like it's like community thing he's talking about.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But you can still achieve it. Like with our we have another Katy Trail location, Ice House location in Plano. And it's not on the shopping trail. It's in a shopping center. It's kind of in the butt end of a shopping center.
Yeah.
Is it called Katy Trail as well?
Yeah, it is. It's
an outpost.
Yeah, that's right.
Now, it was a failed Mexican restaurant. It was it
was my failed Mexican restaurant.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
But it was in a caravan.
But before that, it was originally a black-eyed pea.
That's what it was.
Yeah. But no, it was a failed Mexican restaurant. No, for sure.
But you had a restaurant that didn't work there. You put
what you're really doing.
It works.
That's right. And we made the atmosphere. We used that landscaping concept, and we did those things. And so people will, even if they have to drive, they'll throw their dog in the car. And especially on weekends, it's just like, hey, my dog's been in my apartment all week. I want to go out and have fun, but I'm going to bring my dog. Dogs are a really big part of it.
You've created a place people want to be. You've done some actual placemaking, and you're rewarded by that. People stay a long time. I mean, like they're at your place a long time. Your buddy Washburn's, Highland Park Village. People stay in the Highland Park Village a long time. They may go to Mi Casina, but they'll do some shopping. If you can get a long dwell time.
Yeah, which is different. It's kind of the opposite of everybody else thinks. How many times can it turn the table?
Yeah, no, I think it's that if you want to create a unique experience, it's how much time you can get people to spend there, and they're going to spend more money because they're going to come back more often. Like when my father-in-law comes in town from Tyler, he wants to go to Ice House. Well, that's great. Yeah. And that's what you want too, is that's become kind of a custom to us as we go there.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you do want the long, and that's what there's just not, like what is there to the Ice House? Well, it's music that's not too loud. You can talk. It's really about just sitting. Everybody asks, well, do you have live entertainment? The answer is no. And that would bother people that are trying to talk. They really get together and they gather and they talk about what happened during the week.
And that's a whole nother load of work.
When I ended up on this project originally because the city viewed it as a nuisance. It was too loud.
The Swingers Club wasn't a nuisance,
right? No, that was
closed. You could see it that thing.
There's nothing the city of Dallas dislikes more than fun. Now, maybe kids. It's much easier to get zoning for a bar or a dance club than it is for school. Other than schools, Dallas hates any place that people might be having fun. And we had a not very, I thought, good or helpful council member in that era. And most of the noise was people just talking to each other and enjoying their company. It's not a raucous place.
No.
And it never has been.
You could never really hear the music or anything. And we did, and like Dallas said, Dallas's group was a tremendous help. And we really kind of had that. And really, it was only a few people. You're talking about a handful of people.
Uptown is a younger demographic. It's a fun place. You want to have that.
And what they found out that was that, at that time, the Ice House, it was kind of over there on the island. There wasn't much developed in that part of Uptown. And I'm not going to say that we're the cause of it, but I think we're the catalyst for it happening.
Are you surprised that there's not more people that have done the same thing?
Well, you can't because there's no zoning for it. But what I was going to say was, where it ended up, our neighbors ended up being friends, because all of their property that they owned and so forth, really it all went up in value. Then all of a sudden everybody was happy and they didn't mind the people talking.
We went from about 1% of it.
I've said this before. I think I've written this before. Is that he went from nuisance to institution.
Yeah.
And a lot of that, though, is you take care of customers, whether it's their first time they've ever been there and maybe the only time they're there from Spain, or they come all the time.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
What kind of reiterates that it's the economy, stupid, because, they were mad, but then it started helping their pocketbook, and then they're all like, we're not mad anymore.
And then they started coming in, which they didn't come in before. And then they go, well, I like this place too.
Fun.
Yeah. And then it was just that, there were some older people and sometimes with older people.
Remember the one lady, she had to sleep in her bathtub, she claimed.
Yes. I was like, why in the bathtub? Why not the closet? The bathtub.
Let's be as uncomfortable as possible.
That's where she could find quiet, in the bathtub.
She just was mad.
But
wow.
But I guess she was able to get a padded bathtub.
That was an era where we were reusing the old building, and you'd pull your car up to literally the door.
Right.
And now, after abandoning the street, it really is fully an outdoor concept.
It is. That's right.
I don't think.
No cars. You can't see cars.
Yeah, you can't see cars, and it's the new version is so great.
I agree. Yeah, I mean the old one was great to start with, but then I really think that with our expansion, which was like you alluded to, was we were able to buy Ruth Street, that allowed us to
bringing in the rail car was a nice kind of texture.
Yeah.
Remember the city didn't like that either because it was a conveyance, and that's not allowed. We were like, it's just an historic railroad, and that is a real Katy Railroad car.
Yeah,
you got a picture of it.
We do. We have a picture of it by downtown with one main place in the background. It's pretty cool.
It sounds like you need a Katy Ice House downtown. And maybe the fun people in Dallas would.
Well, now that people understand,
that's the kind of thing you need down there. You need people going down there and hanging.
People are scared of things they don't know.
Yeah.
Now they know what this is, and I remember. Thank you for letting this. I brought my Indian Guides group there early on a Saturday or whatever it was. I mean, it's there's lots of people go after church.
I think it's interesting though that
big Mother's Day place.
Yeah,
believe it or not. Yeah,
it's interesting though that we're talking about how many people have not copycatted because there's not an opportunity to do that. I think that is attributed to your longevity, because if you had 5 or 6 groups, like I did the Bottle Blonde down in Deep Ellum, and when that thing first opened, it was an old paper building that we converted and had an rooftop patio overlooking downtown.
Oh yeah,
they started doing $24 million a year.
It's unbelievable. Yeah,
it was crazy. And then all of a sudden, everybody's jumping in right around them. You've got 7 or 8 different bars within a block, and that all of a sudden became not only everybody's taking market share, it got to be dangerous.
And a lot of those people don't stay with the concept. I was going to Ice House when, my elementary school kids, I'm going to continue going
Yeah.
long after I'm an empty nester. I mean, I think that's one of the things that has made it so enduring is that Ice House doesn't change much, but you enjoy going back because it is an institution.
Well,
It feels like home to you.
most people think it's longer than that. We opened in 2011, so now this is our 15th year. And when I tell people that, they're like, "Oh, I thought you were there like 30 or 40 years." It's kind of funny, but you do have the people that were, parents brought them on Sunday morning when they were 5 years old, and now they're 21, and
Is it?
becomes that kind of
It's not 21 and up after a certain time.
It is.
Okay.
Yeah, it is.
Always?
Yes.
Okay, so no Mother's Day with kids.
No. It's like after 7 o'clock at night.
Oh, gotcha.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, good. Then I need to
Actually, I
come
don't
back
know
with
the
my
exact
kids.
time. It's either 6 or 7.
That's an operations deal.
Yeah, that's my operations guys.
Jimmy
take care of
can figure
that.
it out for you.
exactly.
Feeling?
That's right.
So do you have plans for more?
We have one.
You want to go to Waters Creek?
Not Waters Creek, but on 121, we've got frontage along 121 directly across from Craig Ranch, and directly across from where the new JW Marriott's going
Oh,
there.
great.
And we have 5.5 acres there, and it's on the creek that runs through the golf course
Oh, nice.
where they play the Byron Nelson. So it's actually a really pretty piece of land. And at least for me, that's the last one I'm personally going to do. If someone else in my family wants to do another one, that's up to them. But
Well,
that's
is it
the
fun
last-
working with
Yeah.
Ben? Ben Ralston,
Absolutely.
your partner, and he's relative. I mean,
Yeah.
do you see this as a family business of sorts?
I do.
Friends and family.
Yeah, no, I've structured this deal to last, for 50 years or more. Unfortunately for the people related to me, nobody's going to be able to sell it. So
How many kids do you have?
I've got no kids. So
Okay.
yeah, but kind of my nieces and nephews. I have 3 nieces and 3 nephews, and those are kind of my kids. So.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So the place near the Byron Nelson, is that going to be Katy Ice House? Or are you going to name it after the creek there?
Yeah, we just like the one in Plano is Katy Trail Ice House, and then I know it's a mouthful. We call it the Outpost. So people nickname it when they talk about it. They go
Outpost.
The Outpost. This is going to be Katy Trail Ice House, and we're going to call that one the Ranch. So I'm sure people are going to say the Ranch.
Yep.
But no, it's going to be.
It's a great location. You can get in and out of there so easy. There's so much density.
It's a really great piece of property. We've just been waiting for things to develop around there, and it's really amazing what's gone on. In the last.
Craig Ranch is doing a
3,
big
4
redo
years.
too. So
Yeah, they are.
Well, I think that JW Marriott's going to help
Yeah.
there. I mean, that was one of the big things that they did not like when they left, Las Colinas, was leaving that hotel. And I think that'll help the tournament and the area and obviously the ranch.
Now, one of the interesting things, Ice House is uptown is in the inner city. Well, when you go to suburbia, everybody asks me, "Well, why are you in a shopping center in Plano?" Well, we're way away. We're not connected with any other buildings. Well, there's a lot of parking there.
yeah,
Uh-huh.
When we're going to out to Allen, it's you got to build all those parking spaces. So
Yeah.
when the costs are, for a lot of people, would be cost prohibitive to really do what we do. I mean, I think at the end of the day, we're going to spend right around $10 million on a restaurant concept.
Well, it's mostly outdoors.
Yeah, and a lot of people I'm going to go put, okay, what's your number one expense? We're going to buy trees for this place. That people don't like that.
The crazy thing about development is the number one question, and the boring question to always answer, is solve for parking.
yeah.
I don't care if we work on multifamily or whatever it is. And Buddy and I knew each other back in his boring, I thought of him as an overly picky real estate attorney, very detail oriented.
I'd say that's probably true.
But you bring that detail to, I know he's one time my favorite restaurant story with you is that you had a new server and you had to let her know this isn't how we do Texas ice water. Tell everybody what that is, because I didn't know what it was either.
I don't know.
But it is exactly what I want.
Okay, you are people have a tendency in the restaurant business to serve things the way they want it served. So let's just say you have a server and she's a girl, and really women don't use as much ice as us generally, but that's not universally true. So they will pour it like they want it, a couple of cubes of ice and the rest water. Well, that doesn't work for outside in the sun. And I'm like, this does not matter how you like water. We're in Texas. It's hot. You're going to fill that thing every time all the way up with ice and then pour the water.
It's just ice water. I learned that.
It's still going to melt. You know, after an hour, you got to go, take it and put some more ice in it and get it all refilled back up.
But, I've gone a lot, and I've gone a lot with you too. Now, one of the dangers eating with Buddy is that, you may be about to enjoy a cheeseburger, and he's going to go and use that as a teaching moment in the kitchen that it wasn't perfect. I've had several cheeseburgers.
You guys might not want to eat with me.
Yeah.
I do. If it's wrong, I go back to the kitchen.
No, I've been like, no, it's really good. Now it's going back.
No.
So that's
not perfect.
That's the teaching moment. That's happened to me a number of times. I've learned to adapt to that. But I do think you have an uncanny sense of what people want, whether it's music, but not so much that I can't talk over it. That's what I think your magic is that you're an intuitive observer of other people and what they like, and you've delivered it to them. You have a lot, and you should be commended. This is,
Absolutely.
I think it's one of the most important places in the region, and I'm super proud of you.
I couldn't agree about the music. If the place is loud and I can't hear, I'm not going back.
Well, there's
I wanna be able to hear.
so it's kind of a mixture. I'm going to say it's probably 75, 80% like native Texas music. The rest is kind of folk that fills in, whether it's Crosby, Stills, Nash, or Bob Dylan, or whoever. But whoever it is, and I've got some great Texas artists, whether it's a Willie Nelson song or Jerry Jeff Walker. I will not go and put all of their songs. I pick every single song. So we have about, I don't know now, about 1,200 songs on our list, and it can't be one of their songs that takes over. So it's, and we all know songs like it. It's about listening to them. And I might like that song a lot and listen to it in my car, but you don't want it at the restaurant. You want people that want to listen to it to be able to tune into it and not hear it if they don't want to hear it.
Have you started a Spotify or any kind of you need to have if you have 1,200 songs, put that out as like a playlist on Spotify.
I guarantee you, I play a game.
I don't want to make it too easy for my competitors.
When I go, I play a couple of games. I always look for the luggage. And then I see how long can I go without having a Willie Nelson song. And I like Willie, but you're never going to be able to go for a full visit there and not roll through a Willie Nelson song.
Yeah,
Well, that's a good thing. Yeah.
And maybe you don't know what it is. Maybe Stardust. Hadn't heard it in a while.
Yeah, it's a it's a good playlist. Every once in a while, some song will just eat on me, and I'm like, that's it. I'm taking it off.
That's awesome.
But yeah, that's usually about. It's not very much. I think most of it's like meant to be kind of, easy listening and the primary thing is the community center. Sit around, talk with people, and be able to have that experience. And so that's what we're trying to create.
And you've outlived all the nuisance bars that were sort of your neighbors down the street.
Yes, we have.
The Pandem Kung Fu.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember when I was in my early 20s, all the bars that we would go to in Uptown, I don't think any of them existed.
And Martini Ranch, remember they were big at one time.
They were, and I forgot.
TBC.
So
Primos,
when you had
all those
when you had Kung Fu and all those guys right down the street from you, and then you had the Cosmopolitan Club or right there on the hard corner. That changed hands so many times. But my question is when those guys were at their peak, did that help or hurt
Different
you?
crowd.
Generally,
we would all walk back and forth.
Generally would hurt us, depending on and some of the last tenants of some of those places were just terrible.
Yeah, right.
The customers would come in there. There was shootings down the street, and I walked into one of them. I can't remember the name of it, but it was at the hard corner of Ruth and Cedar Springs, and I walked in. It turned it into do you call that is that a hookah or hookah?
Yeah.
And they were all in there, and they were all smoking weed, and you could smell it everywhere. And there were Dallas police out front. I'm like, can't you do anything about that? They're like, no. And then they would just go around and we had, at that time, we had to spend a lot on security. We had to make sure that they would break into cars and stuff. So we hired security so they couldn't do that in our places and throw trash everywhere. So it was actually worse. And thankfully what's happened there is all that land has gotten so valuable that all those tenants, the reason why you had those tenants to begin with is the landlords would only make them these short-term leases because they're going to develop the property.
Right.
And who would take that but a bad tenant?
Right.
And so that is really the developer's fault, to be quite honest with you, that owned the properties. And then eventually, they've all cleared out. We really don't
There's
have,
nobody in Uptown
there's very few left in our part of Uptown, and kind of cleared out that way. That's, has it helped or hurt? I don't think that any place ever, I think we're a destination place, so I don't really think that we were ever the bar hopping place.
Your
so let's go
destination
next
with
place.
reasonably priced drinks, though. Like, that's the difference. All the new places are in new mixed-use projects that they're charging, $30 a drink, and you guys, I'd much rather go down the street to y'all.
Yeah.
That's exciting. Well, buddy, congrats on the success. What a great story, and
Oh,
what a great place. And the ranch opens when?
I'm going to say, we're going to try to get it open as soon as we can. There's a lot of land planning or something. I'd say the latest spring of 2028.
Okay. All right. So something to look forward to.
I mean, it's a lot. I mean, but when you're going from developing something that was pure ranch land and never been anything before, it's a different deal than going to Center City that has been.
And timing's key, too. You don't want to open up too early before the rest of the infrastructure is right, because that could probably hurt you. So, well, I can't wait to check that place out when you open.
Yeah.
And
Maybe we can do a road show from there.
that'd be fun.
That'd be fun.
For sure do
We
that.
could definitely do that. That would be a lot
This
of fun.
spring, we'll set that on
Do
account.
some road shows. I think it'd be fun to do one from the existing store.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Do you ever
Right
do
to
road
the trail?
trips at all?
We haven't. We've talked about it. What do you think? That'd be fun.
I think that'd be fun.
We could do one.
Let's do that.
They've
Yeah.
got the equipment. We just got
After our Sombrero Road show in San Antonio.
I mean, I do my when we slate the bracket for my morning news thing, we do that every year at Ice House, and I like that. It's pretty fun, and I like
Have some
people
revolving
being picked.
guests come in.
Yeah. No, there's a panel of people that pick the 100. This year, our theme is Dallas sports icons.
We could do a
We're gonna
live
get some people.
podcast.
Yeah, we're gonna get some people with some hot opinions.
We could do a live podcast of comment cards. So everybody can come in. They can tell us how the experience went at the Katy Trail.
Yeah.
I think everybody's experience is good there.
I'll
but,
stuff the ballot box there.
there you go. Buddy, thanks for coming on.
Thank
Love to
you all
have you
very
back
much.
on when we get closer to the ranch. And it's been the Working Title Show with Zach Sams. Thank you guys so much. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
And we'll see you next time.